Hey, hey, okay.
Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning.
Oh, oops.
Oh my gosh, what is happening here?
Here we are. Sorry, guys. Um, here we are. You guys were looking at our Discord there. I was about to send a message letting people know we were live, like for real, live. What's up, everybody in the chat? Chase says we out here. The Metal Show says poor Giants. Yeah, what is up with me and constantly clowning the Giants in the polls?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Don't know, man. Would you rather say something nice? No, I mean, never mind. I actually won't say that.
Tell me.
How's everyone doing? Huh? What's
Tell me,
going on?
tell me, tell me, tell me.
12:07 here. Thursday, or technically Friday, midday in Sydney, Australia. The sun is
It's a
kind of,
Thursday night where you guys are, though.
yeah, the sun's kind of poking out here.
Yeah.
So it's a nice day.
It is a nice day. What's up, Gator? Saxter says Clowny loves dog food too. That's right. He's in that dog pound. What's up, Kenny Powers? Welcome, brother. Okay, there's 20 people watching, 11 likes. Let's all hit the like button right now, even if you don't like us. Can we all agree? Just like if you think that maybe my face is ugly, then you pop a like, and then we're all on the same page, Can we agree on something?
We're liking that. My face looks great.
Okay, okay. Well, actually, I would like people to now make a stand here. Who has
I don't know
a
why.
prettier face between
I don't
us?
know why you have to shoot yourself down.
Yeah. Wow.
Every single time you just like, you know what? Like it if I'm ugly. Like, nah, man. Like it if you look good.
Oh my god. I don't know. People will do anything for likes nowadays.
Yeah.
And we are people.
Same.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Hey, there's a lot of new people joining the community, and just want to say welcome. Glad to have you. This
Hello, guys.
community is growing like crazy. I am proud to announce. I mean, this was crazy to me, but based off of analytics, I'm proud to announce that we are the fastest growing Dynasty channel on YouTube, and that has a lot to do with you guys really, really liking the content and interacting with it, dropping the likes on the lives, commenting on the videos. It's been really, really awesome to see. We started this channel about a month ago, and it's just been super fun growing it with you guys, pumping out content. Now, we are doing a Dynasty rookie mock today, okay? So if you want to be a part of it, it's actually extremely easy, super duper easy. I have pasted a link that's in the chat box in the comments. It is a pinned comments, okay? And in that link is an invitation to our Discord. All you have to do is join our Discord, and then you can be a part of these drafts. We send out information in that Discord. So go ahead and join the Discord first if you want to be in tonight's mock. Essentially, we will have a link that's sent out in that Discord. Badaki will send that to us here in a second. What's up, Scott? What's up? I believe your name is Jeff. That's how you spell Jeff. Geoff. I've met someone who spelt Jeff like that. Let me know if I've got that right. He's asking if Garrett Wilson is wide receiver 1. We'll definitely talk about that today. Scott McCoy, what's up, my guy? Tim Potter. Harry Potter. Chase says, I actually have a...
I bet you he hates that. I bet you.
Hit the get. Thanks for
all love. Appreciate you.
Yeah, he probably does hate when people...
Harry Potter. How many people did that to him? And you're like,
probably.
You're the first time he comes in here, he's like, oh, Harry Potter. It's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry for the
anyway, this is a family-friendly stream. Chase says, I actually have draft pick in 2022, so now I need to learn everything. Counting on you guys. Welcome, bro. Looking forward to some more rookie discussions. Tim says, I have pick 2, 4, 7, and 8. Damn, son. And Clyde says, you like that? As Kirk Cousins likes to say, you like that? Maybe we should get a little animation. It's like pointing right where the like button is. When people are watching online.
That'd actually be funny.
You like that? That's actually funny. We should do that.
Actually, 200 IQ. I might try to do that right now. You like that?
You like that? That's awesome. All right. Gator says it's amazing that it is already about 1/4 the amount of subscribers that the other channel has. That's right. We do have a redraft channel where we cover redraft content. We're going to be covering a lot of betting content, DFS over there.
Yeah.
So if you are at all interested, I will paste a link that has pretty much everything that we do here. Okay. Solo.to/fantasylandfootball. You can find our Patreon there. If you want to join leagues, you can find our main channel. You can find everything that we do. Literally everything is there. Tim Potter says, I have to beat them to the punch. Tim Potter like Harry Potter. Hey, at least he knows, you know?
Yeah.
Bond.
That's funny.
Like James Bond. There's
What a day.
there's a girl that I know. I went to college with her, and her name was Cynthia. And that's right when 22 Jump Street came out. And I just met her, and I was like, Cynthia died for our Cynthias. She was like, oh my God, you're so original. We never talked after that. So
He never questioned
didn't-
that. That actually
she
is
didn't
so
like
funny though. Hunter said just started watching y'all 3 weeks ago. Watched every video since. Love the mocks and really questioning your Jerome Ford love.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, we all have different perspective, and it's okay to disagree. And this is what's
Totally.
fantasy about. You know, we always disagree. Zach and I disagree on a lot of things
All the time.
So it's good that other people can kind of chime in and give you a thought process and how you feel about people. But yeah, I love Jerome Ford. We'll definitely talk about him when when we start this.
And I'll say this just to preface everything. And anytime we post pretty much any content, someone has a different opinion. That's actually totally okay, and we welcome the different opinions. It would be so stupid of us to, not allow other people to see something differently to us. I mean, we are two people who have two different opinions, and it's okay if you see something different in certain players that we don't see. That's actually okay. It's good to bring discussion. It's good to have difference of opinion. If we all saw the same thing, fantasy would be so boring. And everyone hits, everyone misses. So welcome. We've been working on something really, really special for you guys who are over there on Patreon. We do have our Dynasty rankings already up on Patreon, but also we have been working, I don't know if this is going to show on stream or not. We've kind of been working on Dynasty profiles for you guys. Okay, that does look like it's up there on the stream.
Yeah, it definitely is. So it looks good.
With the amount of time that we have, we've been trying to give you guys a rough estimate of how we've broken down each prospect and our pro comp strengths and video breakdowns if we have them. So I just wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek of that over there on Patreon. We're hoping to release pretty much that entire... We're not going to be able to cover every single player. We're just going to be honest. It's only two of us. Between all the content, our other jobs, and everything, we're not going to be able to make a profile for every single player over there. But all of the main important ones, we will be releasing profile. We'll probably have, 20 to 30, maybe 40 profiles. I don't want to speak too soon, but somewhere around there.
Yeah, we'll definitely gauge it. We're putting them all together right now. We should hopefully have that out as soon as possible. And, you can get that on our Patreon, patreon.com/fantasylandfam. But yeah, even if somebody, shoots up the draft board, the draft capital, and somebody, a guy that has a crazy NFL combine, we will of course cover him and maybe bring our breakdown and our thought process of that guy. But yeah, just so you guys know,
the rankings and the profiles, everything is fluid. We're okay to continually change things if something happens in the combine. Where people land, things will change. So those are going to change depending on things that happen. But we are doing a rookie dynasty. Well, a rookie only dynasty draft. Okay. So we have 4 rounds in all of our follower dynasty leagues and in all of our friend home dynasty leagues, if you will. We do 4 rounds. We don't think it's really necessary to do more than that. I mean, in the 4th round, typically you're drafting guys who are only practice squad players anyway. So I know some people do like 6, 7 rounds. I'm just like, dude, at that point, you don't even know the rookies you're drafting. And they probably are undrafted free agents, But this will be 12 man. How do people join this mock, Badaki, if they want to be a part of it?
Zach, he said it earlier, it's already pinned in this chat on the top. Join our Discord channel. Go on there. I'm going to release a link here soon. Go to Dynasty, Dynasty mock drafts, and that's where you can see all the previous mock drafts that we put saying, hey, Here's a mock draft. The mock draft starts in 1 hour. We're currently live right now. I already have the link here, so make sure you go there. The link is about to drop. I'm giving you guys time because I know it's a little bit delayed.
Yeah. Scott
Dynasty,
McCoy
damn it.
says, I
Then
have the
Dynasty mock draft.
103 and my head wants to take Burks, but my heart wants me to take London. I feel like if he did not get injured, he would be the clear-cut one. Yeah, we're lower on London as a channel than the rest of the community. There's a video coming out this weekend, and you guys will be able to kind of fully understand our reasoning as to why. But I would be surprised, to be honest, if Burks is available at the 103. So you might have to go London, but we'll see. We'll see how it kind of pans out here. I don't want to influence the draft at all. All right, guys. So we hit a like goal. You guys were amazing. A couple weeks ago, we hit the 50 like goal. So now we have a 75 like goal on this stream. And if we hit that 75 likes, you guys vote on what I have to do if we hit that like goal together. Either eat dog food or say one nice thing about the Giants. I genuinely do not know which one is worse. I think I might actually prefer to eat dog food. Right now, people are voting for me to say one nice thing about the Giants. So drop a like if you want to.
My beloved New York Football Giants. It's all love.
Drop a like if you want to see that happen. I think it's time to drop the link, Badaki.
Yeah, that's all good, guys. Once again, Dynasty, damn it. Dynasty mock drafts. The link is going to be dropped right here. 3, 2, 1.
All right.
We have 215 plus people in our Discord, by the way, which is pretty awesome. It's growing. It's growing here. And there goes a link.
Each person in the Discord also, brings their perspective, and it's always interesting. All right, so we'll see. This is probably going to fill up pretty quickly, I imagine. By the way, did you see Eli Apple's response to all the hate?
Because he said, yeah, it was.
I found that hilarious. He was like, this is what, by the way, Eli Apple, who just got burnt in the Super Bowl, a big reason why they lost, and was calling everyone out, was talking trash before the game. This was his reply, in case anyone hasn't heard. He said, y'all reawoke a fire in me that will only make me stronger, and I'm beyond excited to unleash that demon again to exponential levels on any opponent that lines up across from me next season. And now the entire NFL is trembling. Just trembling. He's just burying a hole even deeper. All right, shout out to everyone who got in. GOAT, I think this is the first time we are mocking with GOAT.
Yeah, I think GOAT. I think Polwin. I think at 1.3 we mocked with Zach. We were mocked with Mitchell. Hutchinson. I don't think we drafted with him.
I feel like we might have drafted with Polwin and Hutchinson, but I could be wrong. Saxter is
General.
I
don't think
it's the first time.
Yeah, Saxter, and I think Rule General potentially. Rude General.
Yeah, could be.
Interesting. But welcome everyone.
Okay, so this is how it's going to work. Just so you guys know, there will be moments where I pause the draft so we can discuss picks. Because you who are watching this, who aren't participating, probably want to know our thoughts. Again, they are just our thoughts. It's not black and white, but we will give our opinion on where players go and if we think it's the correct position for them. So just if you're watching this and and you're mocking with us, just be aware I will pause the mock at some point. Just to give conversation, the ability to have conversations, room for conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do this.
All right. So there will be 2 minutes on the clock. Just quickly, I want to text that into the chat in case anyone's not watching.
Oh, good. Gator fans think I'm torn about joining the Dynasty portion. Part of me wants to, but also don't know how long I'll be invested in it. Yeah, look. That's what the thing about Dynasty, we try to, when you read it, we try to make sure that everyone is invested in it for a very long time. And, this is what makes it fun. These rookie mock drafts, these new guys coming in every single year makes it fun and makes it, makes you want to invest in some of these guys. There's some guys that I'm taking a chance on. On one of our leagues, I'm rebuilding, and I'm trying to trade away Kyler Murray here and just gonna take a chance on one of these guys. Sounds crazy. It sounds ludicrous.
I keep sending good offers, but I think you have good offers. You're being too greedy at this point.
Yeah, I'm being too greedy, and that's okay. That's what happens. So it just depends on how you feel and if you can do it. But let us know, man. If you have any other questions, please message us and let us know what you're thinking.
All right, ground rules. This is SuperFlex, rookie only Dynasty mock. Okay, there will be any position that you want to draft, you can draft any pick. It is linear, not snake, and it is PPR format, non-tight end premium for this, just in case anyone's watching this later or curious while they're watching. So let's go ahead and start the draft. 2 minutes on the clock for every pick. You can take as much time as you want. You can, go as quick as you want. Again, friendly reminder, we will pause at certain points to discuss draft picks that do take place.
What's up, John? What's good, brother?
Okay, so Burks goes at the 1-1. No surprise here. Let's just catch up with the chat. Rod, what's up, John? Yeah, Rod T says, please help. Rookie Dynasty draft trade options. Give the first 6, get a 9, second 12, third 12, or... Oh, Rod, I'm so sorry. That's quite confusing.
The 1.6, the 1.9.
I'm assuming he's saying that he can give the 1.6 to get the 1.9, the 2.12, and the 3.12.
Right, that's what I'm assuming.
To me, I think I would prefer to keep the 1.6 because there's just a tier gap in talent after the 106. But I think it really depends on your league and who might go in the draft. I'm sorry, Rod. Try and maybe spell it out a little clearer for us. We need that book, Talking Trades for Dummies, on our end. All right, the Storm Bucket says, what's good, boys?
What's happening?
All right, so I'm just going to take people through my next pick, okay? This is a SuperFlex league, so I am considering quarterback here. However, for me, there is... all these quarterbacks in this draft are decent. They don't blow me away. They all have similar outcomes. They could be great. They could be busts. However, I think there's one running back in particular that I fully believe will be a workhorse running back. For me, that's Breece Hall. So he is a tier above the rest of the players currently on the board. So I will be taking Breece. And by the way, it's so difficult to find those workhorse guys. So after Breece, I think there's a conversation for different running backs, but I'm going to take Breece here at the 1.2. Definitely think he's going to get a workhorse in the NFL, workhorse role in the NFL.
Yeah.
Rebuilding is not a reason to trade Kyler. I agree. And honestly, Badaki's not trading Kyler because he's rebuilding. He's trading him away because it's mental. He doesn't like Kyler. Like you're not trading him away because you're rebuilding.
Yeah, Joe, there's a lot more behind
he just has
the whole
this weird obsession of hating Kyler Murray for some reason.
I think he's talented. He's a talented quarterback. He's a top 5 quarterback. There's no doubt about it. And I just don't want him on my team.
All right, Steve says, I got the 101, 105, 112 in 2022 Superflex tight end premium. Thinking Hall or Willis at the 101. What would you guys do? I got Lance, Zach Wilson as my quarterbacks and just Dobbins main running back. I would go Breece personally, like I said when I made my pick. I just think that there's a massive talent gap or security, right? And the guys like Burks, Breece Hall over these quarterbacks. There's just I have more security in knowing that they're going to be for sure fantasy relevant. So I would go Breece Hall because he's in a class of his own with these running backs, in my opinion. And then the 105, 112, maybe you can take a chance on a quarterback there. Cody, that's funny. He says, every time you say take a chance and Zach sings that song by ABBA, it gets stuck in my head. Zach says, we'll be looking forward to more mocks. I'm GOAT even. Okay, awesome, man. Welcome. All right, Badaki. So Garrett Wilson goes at the 1-3. And that's not surprising. You have him as your wide receiver 1. I'm not as high on him, but I understand why people would take him there.
He is my wide receiver 1, and I think this is where it gets a little bit hard for me. Do I want to take in the high upside guy in a quarterback right here, right now, the 1-4 in Malik Willis? Or do I want to be a little bit more, not laid back, but I feel like someone like a Chris Olave here could potentially give me a decent return.
Right.
Obviously, this could be all based on your team. It can be all based on, if you need a wide receiver, a quarterback, whatever the case may be. But I think high upside here because I do believe if you look at back at that rookie mock draft that we did, Zach and I have Malik going to the Steelers.
Right.
And I do think that if he does go to the Steelers with Najee, Deontay Johnson, and Chase Claypool, it could be something special there with Pat the Dragon. So I might take the chance here with Malik at the 1-4.
Okay. So Malik goes at the 1-4. That's not surprising to me. I think you could justify taking Malik wherever you want to, right? The best arm as far as arm talent in the class easily, but probably the most risk of any player in the class. And by the way, when he enters the league, he's probably right underneath Lamar Jackson when it comes to running quarterbacks. Like, I think he's probably right underneath Lamar. I don't want to be too dramatic, but that's how good of a runner he is. Olave over London, question mark. Yes, we are not very high on London here.
Yeah,
There's a video
we'll
coming
have a
out
video coming out soon. Yeah.
this weekend to kind of tell you why. Seven says draft talent, not needs. I agree. I definitely agree personally. I would always go talent over need. However,
Yeah.
people aren't going to do that. Like, that's not
I'm a
always
little
going to
bit
happen.
both. Yeah, 100%. I think like I agree, and I also see the other side. I can see where like if it's a clear pure talent here in this draft, which I don't, I think there's a lot of high upside people. I think right now consensus 101 is Treylon Burks. But if I'm not getting Treylon Burks, then I think you can go anywhere after that. If you can go, you can get talent in Brees, or you can get high upside in Malik.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the thought process right now is that we don't know where these guys are going
For sure.
and where they would be. So I feel like if Malik goes to a place where we know he's starting right away, maybe he might be the 101.
And
maybe over
landing spot
Treylon.
could be key for him for sure if he lands in a great offense already. Kenneth Walker at the 1.5. I'm happy with that. I'm good with it. I think he has the best chance outside of Brees to be a 3 down, not a 3 down, but a workhorse running back, a guy who at least gets the first and second down work. Matt Corral at the 1.6. Look, for me, there's still a tier gap of talent in the running back and wide receiver room that I would take over the quarterbacks on the board, but I understand it. You could justify taking him there. Then Isaiah Spiller at the 1.7. We're not as high on Isaiah Spiller. That's okay. We understand why people like him. Then Olave and Jameson Williams off the board. Let's talk about these picks. Anything you like, anything you dislike, anything surprise you at all?
I mean, like you said, Matt Corral, I think at the 1.6, I think it's a little bit surprising. I think this is the earliest he's ever gone, and he is the first time that he is a second quarterback going off the board. Yep. There's one guy I would rather have over Matt Corral. Isaiah Spiller, even though we are a little bit off on him, I've been doing a little bit more of a deep dive of why the fantasy community likes him, and I'm coming around to it. By the same time, I want that to be my decision,
Which,
so it's definitely
which player is this, sorry?
Isaiah Spiller.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so other than that, I think this is kind of going the way it goes,
Yeah, for sure.
I think Drake London not in our fantasy community would definitely go higher. That's all I have to say.
For sure. London would have already been off the board for sure and he will be off the board already at this point in most of your rookie drafts. We are just not as high on him as a channel. We're not as high on him. Video coming out soon, but essentially we do think that maybe the speed and the inability to create separation might cause problems in the NFL. I'm not saying that he's going to be a bad wide receiver. We just prefer certain wide receivers over him. By the way, Steve sent a message in the chat. He said, would you guys trade the 101 and a 2023 second for the 104, 105, and a 2023 first? And yes, you should do that in a heartbeat. That is an easy yes. Rod sent another question. He said, please help. Rookie Dynasty draft. Trade options. Give a first, the 106. Get the 109, the 212, and the 312. Look, if you're not obsessed with anyone that you can get at the 1.6, then yes, make that move. You probably know your league a little bit better than us. So if the players that you think are going to be on the board that will be available at the 1.9 you still like, you still see the potential in, then I don't see any harm in doing it. But if the players that you want will not be available at the 1.9, then no, I don't think you make that trade, and that's probably hard to know. But anyway. All right, so Olave at the 1.8, Jameson Williams at the 1.9. I love this pick. I love that Williams is going this late because I think he's probably going to be one of the steals of these rookie drafts. I'm obsessed with Jameson Williams. I'm not worried about the ACL. I know he didn't get the chance at Ohio State to play. He was outplayed, or Olave and Wilson got the snaps over him. But you just need a chance to prove who you are as a talent. And he got that chance at Alabama. And I don't think there's any question that he would be in conversations for the 101 if it wasn't for the ACL. If he didn't tear his ACL, we're talking about him at the 101. So the ACL is the only reason that he's falling this far in the draft. I love that pick at the 1.9.
For me with Jameson Williams, just as, I don't know if you want to start it, but for Jameson Williams, and why I'm hesitant at this moment is because how late that ACL is.
Yeah.
when is his true return? Is that going to be anytime in this season now? Because he did tear his ACL in January.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not mistaken, it was in the Natty game.
Mm.
So, you know, how much time does he actually need to recover? He's going to miss OTAs. He's going to miss training camp.
For sure.
At least that's the expectation. So I feel like he might
Let
not
me
even
ask you
see the
this. Let me
field
ask
this
you
year.
this. So if we can all agree that if Williams didn't tear his ACL, he would be maybe 101, 102, 103 at worst 103, right? If we can all agree that, are you really not willing to take him from the 103 to the 107 just because of that first month or two? Like, I feel like that would be such short-sighted thinking.
I think that, you know, I'm investing in a guy that is a top talent that we don't even know if, I mean, with all the technology and everyone returning from ACLs, like ACL is nothing now.
Mm-hmm.
But like we don't know how he's reacting. You know, people tore ACL
Sure.
and they haven't come back the same. Is
Sure.
Jameson Williams going to come back the same? The big thing with him was his speed, how fast he was, and I'm pretty sure, you know, his contested catch ability, his strength, and maybe his route running will be a little bit different. But you know, that can hinder him coming back. So I think
Right.
that's what I'm kind of iffy on right now.
Right. For me, I mean, for me personally, he would be the 102 easily. So I'm happy to take him from the 1-7 onwards in these sort of drafts. But I understand people's concerns. But the upside of Jameson Williams, I just think sometimes we might be thinking too short-sighted by not taking him just because he's not going to be there for the first couple months. You know, I just feel like that's a little bit short-sighted. You bet on the talent long term. I think that's what some people are maybe not seeing, or that's the perspective that I'm trying to bring.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about Kenny Pickett at the 110, Pickens at the 11, and Williams at the 12. Pickett, it makes sense. It's a super flex league, the most pro-ready quarterback, if you can call him that. Everyone keeps calling him that. He could be the first quarterback off the board. George Pickens at the 111. I love it. And I am also sad because I feel like he's another one of these guys like Jameson Williams. The only reason he's not going in the top 5 is because of the ACL injury. It's unfortunate for him because he probably would have been either the first or second wide receiver taken in this class. But again, this is someone who was going mid-second. Now he's back into the first. And probably when we get after the draft, I imagine he's probably going to be going even earlier than the 111. So if you have a pick in the second round and you've been eyeing George Pickens, I would just change the mindset and probably expect not to be able to get Pickens in the second round. I don't expect him to fall that far. Do you agree?
I agree. Definitely. He's just a guy that's just going to skyrocket, especially in the NFL Combine.
Yep.
You know, once we see him back on that on the field in the Combine, you know, seeing after that ACL tear, then, you know, then that's what we can see. I think for me, I need to see it.
Okay.
That's my biggest thing.
Combine will be massive for him for sure.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm okay with this. You know, I do think London is a first round pick though. I think so. This has probably gone too far in our community that London is still on the board. I do think he is a first round pick personally. So whether that should have been 110, anywhere from 110 to 112, maybe we're betting on London over Kyron. I mean, let's be honest. London's probably going to be a first round pick. Kyron Williams, we love him. We compare him to Austin Eckler, but I've said this before. What if he's just J.D. McKissick? What if he isn't a workhorse running back? What if he's only a complimentary piece? And we're not drafting Drake London, who is for sure going to get NFL draft round 1 capital. Even though we don't like London, I think he should be in the first round. So I just wanted to kind of recap that first round, give some thoughts, and let's go ahead and resume the draft. Should we catch up on the chat real quick?
Yeah, there's a lot. Everyone's talking to each other and saying stuff here.
We might not be able to read every message, but Zach Miller says Drizzy Drake fall into the second absolutely baffles me, but I'll take it. Yep, it's a little bit confusing there too.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep this draft going. We'll try and reply to the comments as much as we can. So again, London being here, I feel like is a steal for whoever would get him at the 2-1, and then he goes off the board. I mean, obviously we're talking about him. Of course he's going to go off the board. He probably was already, sense. But
100%.
Yeah. Griffin says in a Dynasty startup, should I trade 105, 705, 2023 first for the 212, 308, and 507? So you're losing the
Should I trade
105,
105?
and your first
Yeah.
pick would be the 212 then, or in the second round. You also get the 308 and the 507.
Interesting.
No, I wouldn't. And I guess the reason why I wouldn't do that is because
Because that's a
you
top
can.
5 quarterback.
That's a top 5 quarterback in
Yeah.
Dynasty, and those are
That's Joe Burrow, Kyler
extremely
Murray.
valuable. So
That's one of those guys for sure. Unless
no.
depending on how the board falls, Jonathan Taylor can go in your top 5 in your draft, depending on how they're drafting.
Yeah. Yeah,
One of those
I wouldn't make
guys.
that trade. You got to solidify one of those top. If you have a top 6 pick, unless you're getting like the entire farm for it, you got to think that's Joe Burrow. What could you trade Joe Burrow for right now in Dynasty? I mean, you could get multiple first easy and players. That's Kyler. That's Justin Herbert that you could be losing. So no, I wouldn't do that. Thanks everybody for watching. This community is continually growing. We have a light goal of 75 likes on the stream. I know it's ambitious, but with your help, we can get there. And if we hit 75 likes, whatever the poll says in the chat is what I have to do. So I either have to eat dog food or say one nice thing about the Giants. So you can vote on that. Drop a like if you don't mind. Show us some love. All right. So I just realized I'm on the clock. I was waiting for someone to make a pick, but I've been on the clock the entire time. So let me just look at
You got
my
Brees
rankings
Hall
here.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not going to be making draft picks. I'm just going to make this pick before I'm going to take David Bell here.
Makes sense.
For me, like we see it a little bit differently, but for me, I'm always going to go what is the best talent available. I think my team needs is probably only going to be in maybe 10% of my consideration on each pick. I think 90% of my consideration is going to be who I think is the best talent on the board. Just because I don't want to fill a need with a player who I think is less talented and miss out on that talent that I believed in more, just to fill a need. I can trade for needs if I want to, but in these sort of drafts, I am personally looking at talent more than anything else. So Bell is in a different tier gap than everyone else on the board for me. So then we see Sam Howell off the board at the 2-3. Makes sense. I mean, this quarterback class, man, who knows who's going to be the first quarterback off the board? It's probably Malik. But honestly, who knows? And who knows who's going to be the most successful, honestly, at this point.
It's all going to depend on their landing spot, Like, it's so interesting. If Malik goes to the team where he's immediately the backup, which I personally don't think that's going to happen. I mean, he's going to fall, surely,
Yeah. Steve says traded the 102 and a 2023 second for the 107 and a 2023 first. Have those two offers out there. Just wondering if I should pull them. So you have made this move or you haven't? He says he traded the 102 and a 2023 second for the 107 and a 2023 first. I'm assuming this is this in a rookie draft? If it's not a startup, then I think I'm okay with that. I mean, where those first and seconds will land next year is going to be crucial, because if that second's going to be early and the first is going to be late, then it's not really worth it. But if you imagine that it's a bad team you're trading with and you're going to get a really high first round pick next year, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with moving back in this year's draft for sure, in the rookie drafts. Storm wants me to say one nice thing about the Giants. If Walker runs in the low 4.4s at the combine, does he move up? Does that move him up in your mind? I already have Walker as my running back 2. So I don't see him surpassing Brees Hall, but that would be very impressive. It would make me more confident in him.
Yeah, definitely.
As a prospect.
I'm gonna do a whole nother reevaluation after the combine of just any notes, how I see them performing. Oh my goodness.
I didn't know. I was waiting for you to make a pick.
Okay, sorry.
You're about to have to panic pick here.
I have him on the queue already, so I'm okay.
Okay. I was like, does this guy know that he's on the clock? Jerome Ford at the 2-4. No one sees what we see in Jerome Ford. Well, people like him, but I have him as my running back 4. You have him as your running back 2.
Yeah, my running back 2. I like Jerome Ford. I just think he's talented. I think he can go on a team and be a workhorse immediately, over guys like Kyron Williams and maybe potentially Kenneth Walker. But yeah, I see how these guys are still over him,
Right.
I'm definitely taking a chance on this guy. I think if
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so we see
yeah,
Rashad White at the 2-6, then Watson. Personally, I love Watson as a talent. I mean, how can you deny the big body, the athleticism? But there are a couple other players on the board still that I'm taking over Christian Watson at this point. And I think those players are going to get a higher draft capital in real life as well. One of them just went. That's Wan'Dale
yeah,
Robinson.
Wandell.
So
Yeah,
let's
that makes
pause
sense.
and just talk about these last couple picks. So Jahan Dotson, love it. I mean, at the 2.5, you could get a wide receiver who might go in the first round of the NFL draft. A lot of people are
Pretty high on him, and
obsessed with him as a
yeah,
talent. Rashad White
you
at the
like
two
him as well.
six. Yeah, we like Dotson. Rashad White at the 2-6. Interesting prospect, 6'2". Kind of can serve that Cordero Patterson running back wide receiver combo in the NFL. A talent that really, really intrigues us. And then Wan'Dale Robinson at the 2-8. I haven't heard any mainstream media talking about Wan'Dale
About
Robinson
Rondell, yeah.
until 2 days ago, I think it was. I was watching, who was it? I think it was Todd McShay. I think was talking about him on ESPN, and he compared him to Deebo Samuel. Okay, Wan'Dale's not Deebo Samuel. We comparing a player to Deebo Samuel. If anyone in this draft could be Deebo Samuel, it might be
I think
Treylon Burks. It is
you could be
not.
comparing his usage potentially, but the way he could be utilized.
Maybe.
But yeah, I get it.
I love Wan'Dale, but let's calm down on this whole Deebo talk. He is not Deebo by a mile, but he could be. The way he runs an open field reminds me of Tyreek Hill. He doesn't have anywhere near the speed that Tyreek has, but him in the screen game on the slants, the way he's used in space reminds me of Tyreek Hill. His short area explosiveness is in the elite category. Really, really fun guy to watch. I think GMs are going to be obsessed with him at the combine and with his film. So any of these picks you're upset about, or you're good with all of them?
No, I love every single one of these picks. I think this is kind of going the right way. Yeah, I think it's just Christian Watson. I think I would have taken. I have a couple people in my queue that I would have taken over Christian Watson, and Wan'Dale was one of them. But other than that, I don't think it's too far of a reach.
Yeah.
It's probably like one or two, maybe three players of reach. But other than that, I think everything is going the way it's supposed to right now.
I mean, we loved Christian Watson, but that was when we could get him at the end of the third round. Now we have to start to assess: are we just betting on the talent? Like, will the draft capital be there? You know, there's a couple things that we have to assess there, but I'm okay with where these picks have gone. And again, these are just our opinions, guys. It is actually totally okay to see things differently. That always happens in this community. That's okay.
Here we go.
Buck says, I gave Hollywood and the 311 and received Fournette in a 206. I'm assuming this is rookie draft picks, Buck. Just let me know if that's the case. I think I would have preferred.
I would have kept Hollywood.
I know there's some rumors about him, but
yeah, there's definitely rumors about him. But I mean, I would have kept Hollywood. He's tied with a great quarterback. You know, where's Lenny gonna go? If he does resign with the Bucks, is that a 1 year or 2 year? And Hollywood Brown's longevity as a wide receiver in Dynasty is a lot longer than Lenny's right now.
Yeah.
So, and that I understand you probably come up in the draft with a 2-6. But I mean, right now the 2-6 was Rashad White. You know,
yeah,
you could have got Rashad White, Jahan Dotson.
So essentially, you want like a Christian Watson, Fournette, or a Hollywood, and whoever falls here. But for me, I would have preferred Hollywood. I mean, he's only 24 years old. I don't think he's retiring to pursue gaming. In the first 6 weeks, he was a top 5 wide receiver. Then he had some injury issues, same with Lamar, and just kind of fell apart. But Hollywood's still a guy that I personally view as a top 25 wide receiver in Dynasty. So whereas Fournette, the age, he keeps getting older. Will he re-sign in Tampa Bay? Who knows? Will he ever have that workload again? I don't know if we can promise that. So
we don't know.
I'm sorry, but I think I would prefer the Hollywood side, just to be honest. Joe Herbert says Christian Watson hates when people play physical with him. He has no clue how to influence DBs. I'm not that impressed. Definitely have heard that conversation as well. And he also didn't play the best competition. He hasn't played the best defenders, and defense in college is always god-awful anyway. So it's definitely a conversation to have. All right, so we see Justin Ross off the board, then Tolbert and Zamir White. I love Justin Ross as a talent. That spinal injury is really, really scary.
Concerning, I think that's what's so scary about me. I don't know if I want to take the chance on Justin Ross. so
Yeah.
high, but it
There
makes sense. The talent's there.
there are players on the board that I would have taken over him, but you can definitely justify taking him here at the 2-9 purely based off of what he did in his freshman season. I mean, he led the Clemson Tigers in receiving yards, and T. Higgins was there. Do you know what I mean? Like T. Higgins was there, and he led the team in receiving yards with Trevor Lawrence his freshman year. That spinal injury, man, I just don't know what that's going to look like long term. Tolbert, really fun prospect. He looks great on film. A lot of people look great on film
Yeah,
when they
this is the
don't
guy.
play great competition, but I do
Yeah.
like him as a prospect for sure.
I think I would have taken still. I see one person I still would have taken, which I think he might fall to you actually. And I think we both know who we're talking about here. So unless either Tebow fan's gonna take him or GOAT, but I think he'll probably end up going to you. But that's somebody I would have taken over Justin Ross and Jalen Tolbert there. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And then Zamir White.
My guy's got 2 ACL tears in both of his knees.
Exactly.
He's a 5-star recruit. So at this point, you're pretty much betting on the talent before the ACL injuries. We'll see. I don't think he's ever going to be a workhorse or a starter, but I think he could be a really good bruiser back that you could use in certain situations in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we'll see. We'll see. I think he'll definitely be something. ACLs.
I
man.
wanted to address Benjamin's comment in the chat. He said, when Wandale measures as 5'7" versus 5'11", does he drop down rankings greatly? This is actually hilarious because I saw a report from someone saying he was 5'11". I watched the film. I said, this guy is not 5'11". You cannot convince me he's 5'11".
Yeah, actually did say that.
To me, yeah, when he hits 5'7", people have questions about it. But I already scouted him as if he was 5'8". So 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", that area. So he won't fall down my rankings. I think but it will surprise some people who might not know that already for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if he can have a crazy vertical, like kind of like what Rondell Moore did, and then everyone was going crazy, maybe then that kind of evens it out because of how high he can jump potentially. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can really turn that around if he does measure.
Yeah. Rod T said I'm being offered in a rookie draft a second in 2022. I'm assuming is that the 212 for Irv Smith Jr. I also have Komet. Do I make the trade? So you have to ask yourself, is there another prospect here that might be available at the 212 that you would like to take a chance on? And if that's the case, then yeah, I'm okay to do it. Irv Smith, super talented. Will he ever put it together? I honestly don't know the full answer to that question. But for me, I would be okay to get some sort of value for Irv Smith at this point. I know there's a 100%. Lot of Irv Smith truthers out there.
A lot of rumors as well with Deshaun and what's happening now. Yeah. So maybe people are trying to get him low right now, or maybe you can try to sell him high. I think Zach and I both aren't Irv Smith truthers or, believe in. I mean, we think he's talented and he's young, but I would definitely, like you said, Cole Kmet. I would definitely have a Cole Kmet over Irv Smith right now every single day.
For sure. So we see Carson Strong at the 212. Carson's going to go higher than this. I promise you that in rookie 100%. Drafts. I mean, this is the guy I was talking about from 2-9 onwards, where I probably would have taken Carson Strong over the other prospects, considering it's SuperFlex. This is like one of the most pass-heavy offenses Nevada was during his time there. He was throwing like 50 times per game.
Crazy, and accurate, super strong and everything.
Even that being considered, he only threw an interception on 1.3% of his passes. So very impressive. Then we see Jalen Watermeyer at the 3-1. I don't know how Trey McBride's on the board, and I don't know how Trey McBride didn't go before Watermeyer. So I honestly am surprised McBride's still there. I'm happily going to take him here at the 3.2. I see this as robbery. McBride for me 100%. Is someone that I would take anywhere from the 2, maybe like after Dotson. I would consider taking him at that point.
I considered taking him at the 2-4, but I think I wanted to solidify a running back because I knew I wouldn't be getting any other running back values on the come around. So yeah, man, I was hoping that he was going to fall to me. I thought you were going to take somebody else.
There's someone else I liked on the board, but for me, McBride is just in a much higher tier as far as talent-wise for me compared to the other people on the board.
There goes Tyler Allgeier as well there.
Okay. Allgeier's off the board. A lot of people are obsessed with Allgeier. I get the workload that he was able to carry at BYU. However, I'm not sure that there's anything about his game that separates him to be that in the NFL. That being said, in the third round of a rookie draft, take your shot if he's your guy. I can definitely see why that would be justified.
Okay.
Benjamin Paul says, I truly think come actual draft time, the quarterbacks will not be faded this much in a super flex. Easily the top 6 will go in the first 2 rounds. I could see that happening for sure. And again, it depends on where these quarterbacks go in the real draft. If they all land in situations where they could start,
100%.
that might look different.
I think that's the whole point. You know, like all this is really just for fun because all these guys, I think you can, like you said, Matt Corral, Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell. I think those guys will go in the top. You said 6 or 7, and then you can get Brees Hall and a steal from like 1-6, maybe 1-5 is going to feel like potentially. All depends on where these guys land. That's why I think like, man,
I
cannot
don't
wait.
think that the draft is going to change the ADP that drastically, but I do think we
I
will
think
see the
so.
quarterbacks earlier. But I don't imagine people giving up on these talents like Brees Hall and Burks and Wilson to take quarterbacks in this year's draft. But I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends. But yeah, I can definitely see how that happens. I'll make my pick here really fast. I'm gonna take Sky Moore here
Love that. That's a
at the
great pick.
4, at the 3-4 there. It's a small shifty guy, but he's super, super fast. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And
crazy.
I haven't heard about him on any major platform either, except for the other day when I heard someone talk about Wandale. I think then, who was it? Mel Kiper started talking about Sky Moore. I love Sky Moore. People are always going to point to D. Eskridge when we talk about Sky Moore, but the talent that Sky Moore has, it will translate into the NFL in the slot position, I think. Peter says, would you consider snagging Evan Ingram now for cheap before he signs? His talent level is really high. If he gets into the right system, always depends on what do you have to give up, Peter? That's always the question. We can justify it if it's the right price. Would you give up Nick Chubb for 104 and 111 rookie picks? I'm assuming that means that you get both, Jeff, and that really depends on what your team construction is. Are you building for the future? Because if you are, then yeah, I would definitely consider doing that. Nick Chubb's 26. His value's not going. He's still going to be very fantasy relevant, but his value is never going to be higher than it is right now. All right, and we see Brian Robinson off the board, Desmond Ridder, and John Mechie at the 3-7. Mechie caught 96 balls at Bama. We are all probably undervaluing him, but he just is not a very fun player to watch on film, and that might impact the way some people look at him.
Good complimentary receiver.
Yeah, he could be a great complimentary wide receiver. Yeah.
Goes out like Pierce.
By the way, Robinson's probably going to go higher in real NFL drafts than most of us realize. And again, that's because he's in the Bama system for whatever reason, for good reason, let's be honest. GMs tend to trust Bama running backs more than any other school. We see Alec Pierce go off the board at the 3-8. Let's talk about
James
him
Cook.
just quickly. Let's talk about Alec Pierce and James Cook.
Yeah.
Alec Pierce, the one thing I'll say it every time we're live and we're talking about him. The one thing that stood out to me when watching his tape, he catches everything. I mean, strong hands,
100%.
wins almost every one-on-one, contested catchability through the roof. James Cook, a guy that you're really excited about, Badaki.
Yeah, it's Dalvin's little brother. Not saying that he could be Dalvin or, he's going to be as great as Dalvin, but you can see how Dalvin he's coaching him up. He's saying, hey, let's try to do this. He looks like, he could be like Dalvin. And the workload, even though he didn't get the workload in college, that's because he was behind Swifty and, if I'm not mistaken, Jerome Ford. Right. No. Is it Jerome Ford or Zamir White? It's one of those guys.
Zamir.
Jerome was also behind Cincinnati.
Jerome was at Bama before he transferred.
Right. There you go. So exactly. So I think he has the opportunity to kind of skyrocket and get that workload if he goes to the right team. I really like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for James Cook. If he can get rid of Lenny, get rid of Rojo, and then James Cook can be the all down back there, in my opinion.
So I personally didn't see enough from James Cook to envision him as a 3-down running back in the NFL. I think he can be fantasy relevant. I think he can be a very, very good 3-down running back, or a 3rd-down, running back, like a spell type role. But I didn't see enough for me to believe that he could lead in a backfield. And we have to keep in mind, guys, there's only 32 starting running backs in the NFL. Do you know what I mean? Wide receivers are always going to have much more opportunities to get roles because you can play 5 wide receivers at a time. There's only ever one running back on the field for most teams. So some of these running backs that we're drafting here will never be starters. We just have to be realistic about that.
I mean, taking a chance at the 3-9 there on
No,
James
definitely.
Cook. I mean,
I'm not
crazy.
saying it's bad value. I'm just saying I personally don't see him as a 3 down back, but I get where you're coming from. And by the way, keeping that in mind, that's why guys like Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Spiller, these guys who some people envision as workhorse running backs, that's maybe why they become more valuable. Because it is harder to come by a valuable running back in fantasy than a valuable wide receiver. Do you know what I mean? That's why you're going to see some of these running backs going earlier, even though there might be more talent at the wide receiver position. So,
I agree.
So let's just go and resume that. I just wanted to kind of get our thoughts out there about that. Peter says, agree with Ingram take. I think I could snag him for a 4th. Would you consider Pitts at the 112 or 201 in a 1 quarterback PPR league? Yeah. I'm assuming this is a dynasty 1 quarterback league. For me, I think Pitts is a generational talent. I think we're only scratching the surface. There are so many missed opportunities, both Pitt's fault and the offense's fault, excuse me. But I think we're going to see a massive breakout year for him as a sophomore. So in a dynasty league, he's one of the most valuable assets. I definitely think you can justify taking him at the 201 in a 1 quarterback league. Jeff is asking, do you think Zamir White could end up being a steal due to people fading him because of the injury, similar to Frank Gore?
I definitely think so. I think Zamir White, 5-star recruit coming out of high school, he was the guy. He was the guy that's supposed to get the workload. Yeah. And then it wasn't like reflected on stats essentially. So I think he is talented.
Happen, but what we have to keep in mind that I don't know the percentage of running backs who have torn ACLs in both knees. But I imagine that percentage is quite low. You know what I mean? I imagine that percentage is really, really low for them being relevant in the NFL. But we always can look at Frank Gore. We can always look at the situation that has happened and say, well, it's happened before. I don't see him being a steal, but look, the talent was there. So he definitely could. I also don't think he's going to get high draft capital in the NFL.
Zaquandre White, and then Damian Pierce.
Zaquandre White, okay, at the 310, then Damian Pierce. Damian Pierce is a guy that you like. You had him as one of your deep sleeper.
Yeah, it's
on
just
our latest video.
Another guy that can come in and take opportunities away from somebody that is a goal. That's not a bigger back. I call him the bulldozer, bowling ball type guy that's going to just punch it in on the goal line every single time. And there's always somebody there.
I love it.
Every NFL team needs a guy like a Damian Pierce, a big body guy that can just kind of punch it in. So he may not be crazy, athletic. He
was one of the weirdest guys to watch on film because there were moments where Damian looked as stiff as it gets. Like he did not look elusive at all. And then there's other moments when he runs a seam route down the middle of the field and catches a pass for like a 70-yard touchdown. I mean, he is a very interesting prospect. Probably going to be a bruiser complimentary back, but at this point, might as well take a chance. We see Cole Turner at the 312. You guys know I'm in love with Cole Turner. However, he is not the next tight end I would have taken off the board. Cole Turner is my tight end 4. Obsessed with him, love him. 6'6".
Crazy. Yeah.
Great leaping ability. Played basketball.
Probably pairing him up with Carson Strong. There looks like Tebow is.
Yeah. There's another tight end on the board that I would have taken personally over him, but I understand the pick. And then Zonovan Knight at the 4-1, really, really interesting guy. I mean, started off his career really strong in college, and then disappointed for the last couple of years. I mean, some people had him as like the 2nd or 3rd best running back in this class after his freshman season, or freshman or sophomore, I can't remember. But interesting guy to get here at the 4th round. Again, the 4th round. Take a chance on a guy that you like. Who cares? You know, if people don't have him ranked a certain way. I mean, we're in the 4th round. Take a chance on someone that you like. Okay, so
still some people out there too.
There's quite a few. Sorry, I have to like kind of
go
look
back and forth.
over
No.
I have to look over my camera because my camera's in the way. But there's one player in particular that really stands out to me that I would take here. But there's another. So I know the player that I'm talking about right now is going to get drafted, so I'm not going to draft him. I do have the player that I'm missing on right now as a higher tier player. However, there's a player that I'm not sure will get drafted, and I want to talk about him, and that's Tyler Beatty. Fell in love with Tyler Beatty throughout the scouting process. He ran this year, excuse me. He ran for over 200 yards in a game 5 times. 5 times he ran for over 200 yards. The last running back in college football to do that was Jonathan Taylor. Now, he is not Jonathan Taylor. He will never be Jonathan Taylor, but he is very, very impressive, can take a workload. He was the only reason Missouri was even winning any game. I mean, I think he contributed for more than 40% of his team's total offense. Small guy, he's only 5'8", but strong build. I mean, he's got powerful legs. I'm really interested to see what the NFL thinks of Tyler Beatty. He might not get drafted, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say he might not get drafted, but it's going to be interesting. Maybe he uses them in a punt return situation. Maybe he gets one of those opportunities. Somebody gets hurt and he comes in and he surprises. Like maybe he goes on draft, or maybe it's like a Austin Eckler type situation where he's like,
Could
hey
be,
man,
I was cautious not to comp him to Austin Eckler because I don't.
I'm not saying he's Austin Eckler. I'm saying the situation of how he can come about and be relevant is like an Austin Eckler scenario.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's talk about some of these picks that have just gone off the board. Romeo Doubs goes off the board. You can see why people would like him linked up with Carson Strong. Shakira. I knew you would take Khalil Shakira at the 4-4.
Yeah, I love this guy. Great, small, shifty wide receiver. Really, he's not even small. I think he's 6 foot, if I'm not mistaken.
6 foot, yeah.
Yeah, he's a guy that can come in and produce right now. He can do anything for your team. He's a speedster. He makes people miss. I like this guy. I think he can be a good slot wide receiver, a complimentary receiver, whatever the case may be. Just give the man an opportunity. And here at the 4-4, you take your chance on these guys that you really love, like you say.
Yeah, we got Weston, then Harris. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. We never want to pretend we know people that we don't. I don't know who Kevin Harris is. Let me know in the chat. Is this someone that we should look into more detail about? And I actually don't know who this is either. Sincere McCormick. I don't know who this is. I'll be honest with you guys. Let us know in the chat if these are guys that we should put more effort into in our scouting process.
Dominic Elwood.
I couldn't tell you. Dominic Elwood still out there. I'm gonna go ahead and resume draft here.
I see Gator fan. He said I was torn between Carson Strong and McBride in my second pick, but I already have Herbert and Pitts in my league's thoughts. Look at some people like to draft. Like I personally like to draft kind of based on what I need, depending on the talent that's in the draft, and some people like to draft based on just talent.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot more talented people on the board still potentially. But I think it's a good pick if this is what fits your team,
For sure. You can justify anything from the 3rd round onwards, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so Retker goes off the board, and then Likely. Likely, for me, is my 3rd tight end in this draft. I love Likely. I think he's a very interesting prospect. And then Ruckert, he's the more traditional tight end, so that makes a lot of sense to take him here at the 4-8. A lot of people aren't high on these tight ends. They're probably not going to go higher than the 4th, 5th, 6th round in the real NFL draft, but we'll see if they ever find room to make an impact in the NFL. Joe says Beatty versus Ely is an interesting comparison. I agree. I definitely agree. Ely's interesting out of Ole Miss, 5-star recruit. He was. They are similar players. I can see where you're coming from. What's up, Calvin? What's up, my guy?
What's up, brother?
McCormick is the UTSA running back. You should check him out. I definitely will. Again, we never want to pretend that we know players if we don't know them. So we'll definitely check out these guys and give them a look. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a couple names. I like to try and do this when we end these drafts. By the way, if you haven't dropped a like, it would be awesome if you could show us some love and drop a like to help us reach that like goal. But let's talk about some names who didn't go off the board that I think probably did deserve to be drafted. Let's start at the running back position. And look, at the running back position, I think we kind of nailed it. I don't think there's anyone necessarily that didn't get drafted.
Everyone just maybe just went there too as well.
Maybe Keontae Ingram. out of USC. Keontae Ingram's a really interesting
Okay.
guy. Maybe him, maybe Haskins. I don't think Haskins is going to get drafted. But wide receivers,
I
I
think
feel like
maybe
there's quite a few
both.
wide receivers that didn't get drafted that we could talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going over the board
Kyle
again.
Phillips, out of UCLA, interesting guy.
Okay.
Calvin
Calvin
Austin
Austin.
didn't
Yeah,
go.
Calvin Austin was another one. Did Romeo go? Yeah, Romeo did go.
Romeo Doubs
Okay.
went.
Willis Jones, I guess, but I think he might be undrafted. He's about to be 25. Oldest, probably the oldest guy in the draft there.
Outside of that, I feel like we pretty much hit all of the main guys. I don't think
Yeah, I think
anyone
that
missed on anyone.
Desmond. Oh no, Desmond did get drafted. Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to double check quarterbacks. I thought he didn't get
No
drafted.
one took a chance on Zappy, but I mean, he's probably never going to be a starter, so that's understandable. I
Mhm.
think everyone nailed it. You guys did really, really well. I'll say this: you can justify where everyone went in this draft with good reasoning, and I think
Yeah,
that's what we're going to see a lot in these rookie drafts. Um,
it's going to be interesting, especially when these guys all get drafted and they have teams. I think this is so fun, and it's just going to be even fun, like more exciting once we know which team they're going to be on
yeah,
and how they can actually produce for our fantasy teams and just in football in general. So it's
definitely
crazy.
agreed. Saxer says Kevin Harris is a sophomore at USC. He broke out 1,100 yards in 10 games. Fits the bill of an SEC of an NFL running back is what he meant to say. We'll definitely give those guys
Okay.
a further look. Let's talk about. I want to just start doing this on these. I want each of us to give one steal of the draft. Okay, I I'm gonna look at the board right now and try and find
One
who I think
steal
who is the
of
steal of the draft. I'll start first.
okay.
Look, in a super flex league, we might not be high on Desmond Ritter, but I do think that the NFL is higher than we are on him. This could be the first quarterback off the board. Probably won't be, right? But in the real NFL
Hmm.
draft, he could be a first round guy. Do I think his accuracy is anywhere near where it needs to be an NFL quarterback? No. But people really, really like him. GMs really, really like what he could bring to an NFL team. So in a super flex league, to get potentially a starting quarterback at the 3-6, that to me is a really, really good steal. But Aki, is there a steal in particular that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think the most obvious one is obviously Drake London. Our
Yeah.
community is a little bit lower on him, potentially, but we just like the other type of build of wide receivers. But for me, I think it's actually by you, Trey McBride. I think I would have taken him at the 2-4. He pretty much went almost a round later in
Yeah.
at the 3-2. I think that's really perfect. If NFL teams, he is I think the number one tight end for me, probably also for the NFL potentially,
Yeah.
depending on the team. This guy can come in. He is a workhorse. He can get the ball now. He can block. He has all the tangibles to be a good or at least a decent tight end in the NFL. So at the 3-2 there, even though he should have gone earlier, I think that's a good steal.
For sure. I think he will go earlier. I think that might have been a product of Sleeper's ADP at this current point. But when you look at McBride, some of the hybrid guys like a Weidemeyer, a Likely, these guys are a little bit harder to have them stay on the field in every type of scheme,
I think
right? I mean,
I think yeah, it's a specific scheme. Someone like a Jalen Watermeyer has to be in compared to a Trey McBride. I think Trey can go anywhere and be successful, at least from what my understanding of him right now.
yeah.
Where Watermeyer has to be in a specific offense. So
I think it's just more that McBride with his blocking ability, he could be on the field on any play. I mean, the snap
yeah,
percentages for McBride and Rucker over guys like Likely and Weidemeyer, I think is going to be vastly different. Who knows if either of them start? I think McBride does. But the fact that he can do everything that you need from a tight end means he's probably going to be on the field more often than anyone else, any other tight end in this draft. London is
mm,
obviously a steal at the 2-1. That's definitely a steal there. I can't even agree. I can't even disagree. Excuse me. We're not very high on him compared to
yeah.
the rest of the community.
Maybe we should just release that video tonight or whenever
Let me
we
see. When is
release
that
it.
Drake London video
This is, I think,
set
for
to
us
release?
as just Zach and I, this is the guy that we
Oh
agree
yeah,
on
that is tonight.
the most. We
Drake
agree on the
London.
most, but we're so left on compared to the fantasy community. So
Yeah,
it's
London
interesting.
releases tonight, so you guys will be able to see that in your morning time, you'll be able to see the Drake London video. And hopefully that brings some context
clarity.
as to why we're not as high on him as everyone. I still have him as my wide receiver 6, but a lot of people don't like that he's not in the top 3 or top 2.
I think I think the Twitter fantasy community, he's a top 3 wide receiver.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's Treylon, Drake, and then Wilson for some people, or however way you want to put it. But I don't know,
Drake is number 1 for a lot of people as well. So you can look, you can make a case for it for sure. I hope that video that comes out brings some clarity. And guys, thank you so much for mocking with us. This was really, really fun. And I think these rookie mocks in particular, hopefully they're helpful for you guys. If you're watching this, even if you hate what we're saying, if you think what we're saying is completely left field and stupid, at least you get to see where the ADP is. At least you get to see where people are drafting certain players. I think this forum is kind of the most accurate way to actually find true ADP for rookie drafts. I mean, if you do a rookie mock just by yourself and the ADP goes, that's not accurate, you know. It's definitely going to change after the real NFL draft. If I can give any advice,
100%.
Don't do a rookie draft before the NFL draft, because as much as we all like to think that we are the best talent evaluators out there, you know, values will change. Values will definitely change after the NFL draft.
Some people may trade, even teams trading up, that can change the whole board. Just kind of like what happened last year with the 49ers and the Dolphins and Trey Lance, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then all these other guys can kind of values go up. So it could be very interesting to see what happens.
100%. We are pretty excited about the videos that are releasing this weekend. We got a bunch of great content for you. Tomorrow, we are trying something new on the channel, and I would love to get your guys' opinion on it. There will be a video that releases towards the afternoon tomorrow for you, and it's basically Badaki and I grading Dynasty trades. So it's something that we haven't done in a full video format before. So I would love to get you guys' opinions on it. If you think it's things that you want, if you want to keep seeing that kind of content, let us know. And
you can submit your trades as well. You know, if we get a bunch of trades and we think these trade offers are great, submit it. I think Zach, do we have a tab for that trade? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, in the Discord, there's
in the Discord Dynasty, Dynasty trade. So you can submit your trades there. Just join the Discord. Be like, hey, if you guys can review this, and then we can come through and look at these trades and kind of talk about it. To go on there, Dynasty trades, or even if it's redraft will be on the other channel. But Dynasty trades, and then go on there.
We can
talk about it.
I just saw Sleeper Marcus's comment. He said, "I hear the sleeper ADP is going to be 100% accurate." If you guys don't know, Sleeper Marcus works for Sleeper, and I think the ADP looks great. I mean, compared to like a month ago, the ADP looks so much better.
Marcus, we were talking about this yesterday.
Hey.
It was like we were talking. We were like, does Sleeper Marcus actually work for Sleeper? Like, this guy could just be bullshitting us. I
think he does.
Yeah,
I mean, he's supporting us on Patreon, and his email is. Oh, I can't actually say that. That's public information. But it looks like a legit email, and I trust Marcus. I trust him.
It's not that I don't trust you, Marcus. It's just like, there's a chance he could just be like, just playing with our emotions.
Why would he do that? Why would someone make a fake account just
people
to be like,
that.
Yeah, I work for Sleeper?
I'm not saying Sleeper Marcus does that, but people in the world have done that before. Catfish.
So you got to have more trust in people. That's the problem here. That's the takeaway from today. More than where players went or what we learned. Takeaway is Badaki's got
trust issues after Clyde.
Trust issues. Yeah. Oh my God. You know what's funny about that is when in that rookie draft, Clyde was going at the 101 or the 1-2 or the 1-3. How sad is that? Sleeper Marcus says the email exactly what you would guess it would be, Badaki. I love it. He said to me, he was like, "Nah, bro, you can make fake emails. You can make fake."
I'm pretty
emails.
Sure deadass. I'm gonna try to make one. Sleeper Marcus, I'm gonna try and make one and then put my first and last name and see if I can make one that has a similar email to you.
Oh my God, this kid's got rocks in his head. Someone help this kid out. All right, guys. Before we end the stream, we're gonna plug a couple things. Feel free to stay if you want to hear what we do have going on. The first thing that we will plug is our Patreon. Absolutely no pressure to join. However, if any of the following interest you, you may want to consider Patreon. If you want to play in a Dynasty League with our subscribers, with us, and this community that we've built, there's options there to sign up to play Dynasty only, redraft only, or both, called Best of Both Worlds.
Best of both worlds.
You can get advice from us 24/7 through the Close Friends Plus tier. So check that out. We also have a redraft channel, our main channel that we built all last year. But Aki, what do we do on that? What is that going to look like this year?
We basically focus on all redraft content throughout the season and preseason. We're covering now trade rumors, off-season rumors for these guys. I know we have Russell Wilson video that we just released and an Aaron Rodgers video that we just released. Anything we do redraft, kind of like this channel. We do redraft mock drafts, and then we do live redraft drafts as well with our community over there. We're going to cover DFS this year as well, which is also really exciting. And that's about it, man. I mean, that's our channel. We're actually really excited. This is our main channel, the Fantasyland football. Right now it's just the off season for redraft.
Yeah,
essentially.
redraft's kind of dead right now, but it'll pop off during the season. And the last thing I could think of is if you prefer, for whatever reason, to watch us on Twitch, we do go live on Twitch as well. But let's tell you about the videos that are coming out. Maybe get you excited, hopefully, for what is to come. Okay, we have Drake London tonight. Or your morning. And then we have grading Dynasty trades. We got a video on Tua Tagovailoa coming out.
Tua tags.
Which was, by the way, requested in our Discord. And we said, hell yeah, let's make a video about it. Then we have George Pickens, just some insight on him, and a video on Deebo Samuel. Is it time to sell Deebo? So I hope that you guys enjoy those videos. What's up, Pops? My dad is in the chat here. He just broke a bone in his left hand. He had to have surgery. So he came home last night, and his entire arm was orange, like an Oompa Loompa.
How did he break his hand?
I think he fell off a bike. There was some strip on the road when he was that shouldn't have been there. It was from a TV company or something. They didn't properly do it. They didn't properly put this wire away, and then forced him to break something.
I'll be contacting my lawyers there, Dan. Huh?
Do you have any lawyers that you could hook us up with?
Yeah, Wilson, great guy.
Do not go to Wilson. Actually, he helped us out a lot, and he's probably never gonna watch this, but anyway.
Yeah. That's
hey,
funny.
22 people watching. You guys are still here, hanging out with us, even though
there
we're
is
just
one
plugging
thing I
our
wanted to
content.
say.
That's love right there.
I forgot there was one thing I did want to say.
Okay.
Suggestion box on our Discord as well. If any content that you want us to create, you want to hear our thought process, whether it's rookies, Dynasty, even in redrafts, put that in the suggested content box in our Discord, and we'll try to get that out as soon as possible. There's definitely a couple people asking about this. Buy or sell Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
Someone put their Dalton Schultz as well. Buy or sell DeAndre Hopkins or Michael Pittman. So people are doing that, and we already have that. Some of these videos in schedule coming in the next couple weeks or months, whatever the case may be. So put in suggestion, comment, and yeah.
And the last thing I'll say is thank you guys so much for being a part of the channel, for being part of the community, for hanging out. It's awesome to be able to hang out with you guys on almost a daily basis at this point. And gonna keep bringing content. The combine after that changes, we're gonna keep bringing content.
Yeah,
and
get married too as well, man.
But Aki's getting married soon. And the last thing I'll say is if you want to learn more about Damian Pierce, Tyler Beatty, Velus Jones Jr., or Cole Turner, there's a video link that I'm pasting in the chat. Feel free to go ahead and click on that link that I just sent through. We just made a video about those guys.
Pull up the chat in the draft room quickly, he said. All right, let me pull that up. Sorry, we're probably not looking at that.
I'm looking at the chat. What's going on?
He said pull it up really fast.
Pull up the chat in the draft room real quick. Is he about to hack into our mock?
Imagine.
Did Sleeper Marcus? I don't think.
Hey, I'm Badaki. You see?
You didn't
Don't
say
trust
that?
nobody. No, I didn't.
You didn't put that in the chat.
That's 200 IQ for Marcus. I see you there, brother. I'll see you there. You see? Anyone can do that shit.
Hold on. I'm trying to let people see because okay. Can you see
Level
that on the
zero.
stream now? I put that in there because I wanted people to see. So wait, Badaki, you did not You did not say, "Hey, I'm Badaki."
I promise you, I did not say that. I did not do that.
Whoa.
My thing was turned off.
Okay, I did. This is interesting.
Good thing. I mean, all they have is our email, to be honest. Like sleeper as a whole.
Hey, sleep. Do not come into any of my drafts this year and make picks for me. Okay, then we will have a problem. Guys, massive love. I mean, there's still about 20 of you guys just watching us talk about absolutely nothing. But guys, seriously, thank you so much for hanging out. Some of my favorite times each day is spending time with you guys, hanging out, talking fantasy. He said it's an ad-born password. We can't read any messages. LOL. Okay.
Okay, that's funny. All love, you see.
All love,
now
guys.
you know he really works for Sleeper.
Now you know. I never guessed it.
Trust nobody until you know.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. If you haven't dropped a like already, please show some love by dropping a like on your way out. That just helps us reach more people. And enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend. We'll get one last question in here from Aditya. Would you guys rather
what's
have?
happening, brother?
It's been a while since we've chatted to Aditya.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys rather have the 107 and Curtis Samuel, or the 110 and the 201 in a 10-team league? I'm assuming this is these are rookie picks, right, Aditya? I'm assuming these are rookie picks. And if that's the case, I probably would rather have the 110 and the 201.
110 and the 201, 100%.
Even though I love Curtis, I don't think you should have to pay the 201 for Curtis Samuel right now. I don't think he should cost that much.
Not even the 201, to be honest.
That's what I said.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay.
But I hope that helps. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. We'll see you on the upcoming videos. We'll see you next week for more streams. See you there, Jalen Whittemore.